game plan?
The Hawkeyes had an excellent defensive game against Indiana. Expect them to really put the pressure on here. Tracy Webster likes to go 36, 37 minutes. Hawkeyes will try and wear him down. Inside game, Iowa should have an advantage with A.C. Earl and Chris Street. That is not the defensive stalwarts of Wisconsin on the inside. And they must find Finley, an outstanding athlete similar to Cheney of Indiana. Wisconsin, they have to keep the ball in the hands of Webster. He is a tremendous penetrator, outside shooter, outstanding point guard, and they will play with a lot of emotion. As we said, Coach Yoder's last game, as well as senior day in the old field house, is going to be a tough game for the Hawkeyes on the road.
And I think it is rare in this rivalry the Badgers don't play with emotion against the Hawkeyes.
Well, for some reason, Coach Yoder has gotten his team up. The last 3 or 4 years, they have played a very physical game. This team for Wisconsin is much more athletic, and I think they will go up and down the court. Last 2 times at home, they have had 90 points or more.
So the Hawkeyes and the Badgers do battle for the 120th time. We'll have the starting lineup next. The Hawkeyes would love to have some of the magic that the wrestlers had in here earlier today in the Big Ten wrestling tournament as 10 advanced to the semifinals. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Accent Herbicide.
A change. Wisconsin will start McGee to give him more athletic ability on the inside to try and match up with Iowa's speed and tempo game.
The Hawkeyes win the opening tap. Defensively, Wisconsin starts in a man-to-man. Is that what you expect from them, Mac?
I think most teams like to start out man-to-man. It gets your legs moving a little bit rather than standing around in the zone. And just check out your opponent to see how ready they are. If you're more aggressive off a man-to-man usually.
Barnes puts up the game's first shot, and the Hawkeyes open a 2-0 lead.
And that's good news for the Hawkeyes. Barnes only scored 8 points against Indiana. It was the first time in 9 games he had not been in double figures. He had been Mr. Consistent for the Hawks.
Inside, Peterson, and A.C. Earl is on him.
A.C. Earl can give a lot of help to other people. Peterson is not a strong offensive threat, and that's why Earl had a lot of block shots last time against Wisconsin.
Finley drives. Smith got a hand on it, may have made him mess up the shot, and Street has the rebound. Here is Barnes. And it's a 4-0 Iowa lead on a couple of hoops by Val Barnes. Hawkeyes got off to a quick start Wednesday against Indiana, opened a 10-2 advantage. Indiana able to come back from that, and Bob Knight thought that was one of the real keys to the Hoosier victory. That's Carlton McGee. Has not started recently, has not had an especially good sophomore year, but he's in the lineup to start today.
Watch the awareness of the Hawkeye defense. Barnes on Tracy Webster. Hawkeyes will really try and have Webster go to his right hand. Webster, a natural left-hander.
John Davis, a native of the state of Wisconsin, has his master's degree from Mintz Institution, and early in his career even applied for the head basketball coaching job here. Minute and a half has been played. Iowa with a 4-0 lead. Peterson fires for the Badgers. Underneath, the rebound knocked away from Finley by Val Barnes, who's off to a red-hot start, scoring and at the other end of the floor. Here's Moses. Street with the offensive rebound in the basket.
Hawkeyes really have an advantage on the glass. Chris Street being aggressive. That's been his trademark this year. And Peterson took the bad shot that started it all. Hawkeyes, in order to get the fast break going, have to rebound.
Douglas, one of 4 seniors on the Badger squad, with the basketball being watched by Moses. McGee in deep. And that's the first 2 for Wisconsin. McGee averaging 11 points a ball game, and it's 6-2. Hawkeyes with the edge. Iowa certainly used good patience against Indiana on Wednesday night, and defensively is where they really starred, holding a team averaging 85 points to only 64. Webster pulls up. Street keeps it alive, and Smith's able to save it for Iowa. Hawks had the numbers momentarily. Now Barnes, as he starts the drive, travels. Hesitation by Val, and it cost him the turnover.
You've got to be ready to shoot it. He knew where he was on the three-point line, but he started to make a great head ball fake. Referee says he slid the feet rather than have him stationary.
First substitutions made by Iowa. Street goes to the bench. James Winters is in. Also, Jay Webb is in, and at the point guard, Troy Skinner comes on.
The real key in this game, I think, for the Hawkeyes is rebounding. Barnes and Moses each had 1 rebound. That's your perimeter players giving you 2 rebounds against Indiana. Not a good situation if you're a fast break team. Where on the other hand, Tracy Webster's the second leading rebounder on the Wisconsin team in the Big Ten, and that's your point guard on that team.
Hawkeyes also could use some points off the bench. Got only 6 against Indiana. Moses comes up with a steal and trying to get it back. The foul is called on McGee. McGee got his pocket picked, and then as he tried to go back after the basketball, picked up the game's first foul.
Yeah, Moses, not known for great defense, right there shadowed Webster, keeping him from the ball, just had a reach back, deflected the basketball, able to pick it up. That's excellent defense.
Not known for great defense, and yet leads the Hawks in steals. That was his 38th. Here's Barnes leaving it short. And Douglas rebounding for the Badgers. Finley, an outstanding athlete. Good example. Iowa with the first 6 in the ball game, but the Badgers have the next 4. 6-4. Hawks lead is 2. In deep, it is Moses.
Expect the Hawkeyes, if they don't have the fast break, to run some O. Right there, breaking down, getting an easy layup opportunity. Moses, Wisconsin, not a strong inside defensive team.
16:08 first half. Iowa with an 8-4 lead. Peterson misfires on the turnaround, and with the rebound is Winters. Douglas guarding Moses. Skinner against Webster. That will be tough for Troy because Webster talented defensively as well as offensively.
See if the Hawkeyes look right here to make 4 or 5 good passes. See if they can get something down on the block area.
Still plenty of time on the shot clock. 20 seconds to go on that. As Webb has it batted away by Peterson, it's Iowa basketball. And we'll have a timeout with 15 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the first half. The Hawkeyes enjoy a lead of 4. It's Iowa 8 and Wisconsin 4.
It's the Hawkeyes now after that timeout. They have an opportunity to score underneath their own basket. See if they set up a special play for a quick score.
As per usual, when he's in the lineup, Street to trigger. Moses trying to cut inside Douglas, but he walks. And the turnover gives the Badgers the basketball.
After picking up the dribble, they said Moses drug that pivot foot. James checking out the mouth guard, putting it back in.
Badgers have been a good home team. They're 11-5 on their home floor. That includes their last home game, a 96-78 win over Michigan.
And that was just 2 days after Steve Yoder resigned. Really an emotional game for these players. It's a young team. I'll tell you, it's a traumatic experience when you lose the guy that recruited you and that's coached you for 1 or 2 years.
And Douglas travels, and the ball goes back to the Hawkeyes on the swap of turnovers. Another interesting thing about Wisconsin, their last 2 home games, they've scored over 90 points. On the other hand, their last 2 road games, they've been below 60.
And of course, they're at home. The comfort level really goes up. Hawkeyes looking again to go back inside. Going to look for that AC arrow, dropping right down in the middle if they can.
Turnovers. As you saw the indication, Wisconsin with 1 more, really not much of a factor so far. Here's Moses clear at the free throw line. And going high to pull down the rebound is Michael Finley. Finley, though a guard, is the leading Badger rebounder. McGee on the baseline. And Earl comes down with it for the Hawks.
And McGee, as you said, a disappointing sophomore season, just been really inconsistent. And the Hawkeyes bat that around, unable to come up with it. Got to play under control, try and establish the tempo you want, especially on the road.
Barnes is in, Moses out of the Iowa lineup. And for Wisconsin, number 12 is Brian Good, one of the 4 seniors on the squad. He'll take the place of Carlton McGee. Also in the lineup is Brian Kelly, 6'7" freshman out of Decatur, Georgia, one of Steve Yoder's outstanding recruits from a year ago. And Jay Shell has also come into the lineup. He'll wear number 25. Sluggish offensive start to the ball game. 5.5 minutes have been played, and only 12 points have been scored. Iowa has 8, Wisconsin has 4.
Iowa going to a half-court trap. Chris Street out front, and Wisconsin trying to split Chris Street with 2 offensive guards, both of them excellent 3-point shooters out there, being able to rotate the ball, trying to get Street out of position.
Low scoring, good defense so far, and yet just 1 foul through the first almost 6 minutes. Chris Street thought he got the 5-second violation, started to cheer. The official said, no, that was not the case. You got to give him some room. So once again, Jay Shell will try to inbound. Shell, one of those rare players that transferred for his senior year. He'd been at Bradley, wanted to finish it up at home because he's from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Inside, it's Peterson. Rejected by A.C. Earl. His 98th block of the year. Barnes to Looking Bell.
Val Barnes being very aggressive going after that loose ball. Made a good choice. Remember earlier in the year, he was the point guard for the Hawkeyes when they didn't have Kevin Smith. And that was an excellent assist opportunity.
So the Hawkeyes have 5 baskets. Barnes has scored 2 and has an assist on another. 10-4, Iowa with the lead. This is Kelly. Of course, Wisconsin, a very young basketball team, as Webster nails a 3. His first points of the ball game. He comes in 5th in the conference, averaging almost 18 a game.
Hawkeyes with a good break there, down the sideline, got the ball there with just one dribble, and then they decide to run the offense.
It is Street putting it up over Kelly. Chris had a tough time scoring against Indiana, got only 4, and none of them from the floor. Kelly tries to go baseline, batted out by Skinner. Badger ball, but first some Hawkeye changes. Kevin Smith comes back in, as does James Winters. Street and Skinner will exit.
Oh, James Winters comes in, I'll tell you. Right there, you're looking at one of the really bright spots athletically as well as academically. Had the highest grade point last semester at 3.3.
He was awfully proud of that, and well, he should be. Shell from just inside the three-point line, and the Badgers now cut the Iowa lead to 1. It's Iowa 10, Wisconsin 9. 12:52 to play in half number 1. A.C. Earl. Winters scrapping for the rebound, but it's over his head, and Webster finds Brian Good.
And now the Badgers willing to play the Hawkeyes up-tempo game. Kicked it out, had the numbers, in other words, 2-on-1, man advantage. And Smith reaching across Kelly. Now Kelly has to go to the line, try and make a couple free throws. No question about the foul.
First foul called in the ball game against Iowa. One of the things Steve Yoder was most upset about when he visited Iowa City was that the Hawkeyes got to the line 29 times and the Badgers only 10. But when you look at their styles of play, that makes sense.
Well, you have Finley, you have Webster that like to shoot the three-point play as well as Good. And when you're shooting the three-pointer, you're not going to get fouled off, and you have to go inside or drive to the basket.
You saw that statistic. Kelly, a 35% free throw shooter from the line, but he hits a pair. Wisconsin enjoys their first lead, 11-10. 12.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Smith to the baseline. Got the roll.
And that looked to be the same play as they tried to run late in the game against Indiana. That when Smith got down in the Indiana game, he just missed it.
Here's Kelly off the baseline over Winters. And Brian Kelly comes in averaging less than 2. He's got 4. And the Badgers regain the lead at 13-12. Winters tries to save, cannot, and it is Wisconsin basketball. The Badgers lead by 1 in a game so far, Mac, that has been very defensive-minded.
And a little ragged, quite frankly, by the offense for Iowa. They have thrown it away, not because of Wisconsin defense, just being impatient.
Smith has Rodell Davis in front of him, but in front of Rodell Davis was Jay Shell.
And they're going to call a jump ball. Rodell Davis turned right into the Badger. You see Shell, it's like a handoff from the quarterback. Right there, jump ball, go to Wisconsin.
Most likely, Rodell didn't know he was there. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. The lead of 1 at this point. It's Wisconsin 13, Iowa 12. Travel arranged through Northwest Airlines, the #1 on-time airline for 1991. Northwest, the on-time airline. A.C. Earl, 9 block shots against the Badgers in Iowa City. Today, A.C. not quite in the flow yet, it would appear.
Right now, you got to say, A.C., where are you? He has not touched the ball, and when he's got it, he had a fadeaway shot. Badgers paying more attention to him. Iowa's still going to have to find a way to get him into the offense. He's too important.
Badgers normally start Grant Johnson. He fouled out in 11 minutes against A.C. Earl back in January in Iowa City. Johnson has not started in this ballgame and so far hasn't played. Webster looking for a second 3. Nothing but cord for Webster, who is a 51% three-point shooter.
That's better than some people shoot free throws. And he does it from the three-point line.
Badgers with their biggest lead at 16-12. Webb, Smith, Street, Barnes, and Moses now in the Iowa lineup as Street comes down the lane, counts the basket, and he is fouled.
And that's all created by Val Barnes on the penetration. As he drives, 3 Badgers collapse and try and give help. It's an easy dump-off pass. Not accurate, but it's to an area where Street gets it, goes up strong, off the glass, and now the opportunity for the 3-point, all because of Val Barnes' breakdown drive.
Badgers' second foul, Shells first. Street with 5. Though he did not score a basket against Indiana, he was the Hawks' leading rebounder with 10. 16-15, Wisconsin by 1.
We're going to the half-court trap. Badgers will penetrate it and try and get it back into Tracy Webster's hand as soon as possible.
Shell over Street. Webb keeps it alive and comes up with a rebound, his first to the ball game. Hawks can take the lead with a score. And Iowa will have the chance out of bounds off the Badgers.
Right there, get 2 Badgers around Moses. Not a good choice by Skinner. Bouncing that ball in there, he had Barnes open on the left. If you look at Steve Yoder.
His final home game. Not only 4 seniors bowing out, but so is Yoder. Lewis Eli into the Badger lineup, a 6'7" junior from Harvey, Illinois.
And boy, he hasn't smelled much playing time at all. Moses with a bad choice on a shot.
And Eli no sooner gets in the ball game than he comes down with a rebound, and the Badgers try to build on their 1-point lead. 10:35 in the first half, 16-15 Wisconsin. Webb denying that ball from going into Eli. Webster, after hitting 2 threes in a row, misfires there, and underneath, a push is spotted against Brian Kelly. Kelly with his first foul, the Badgers their third. The Hawkeyes have committed just 1, and again Iowa with the basketball and a chance to regain the lead.
Kelly's been very active. Another one of those Wisconsin wide bodies, certainly not as big as Tompkins was last year or Danny Jones in years past, but he does have a wide base.
You mentioned Tompkins. The Badgers have a huge rebuilding job after last year when they really graduated 4 starters and lost the other one, Larry Heisel, due to a transfer. In the lane, a push is spotted, and it's against Wisconsin. Eli tried to grab Street as Chris tried to cross the lane, and Eli picks up his first foul. 4 now called against the Badgers.
We said Eli has not played much. He's only gotten 6 points in the last 6 games. You see him step across, use a little forearm shove. Got called for it.
Skinner for 3. Iowa back into the lead at 18-16. 9:50 before halftime. Iowa 18, Wisconsin 16, 9:40 left to play in the first half. This is Finley, and he's been quiet so far. He finds Eli. 3 Hawkeyes find him as well, and Skinner comes up with a loose basketball.
Not a strong move that time by Eli.
Barnes hot early, but has missed his last couple of shots. The Hawkeyes with an offensive rebound and a chance to add to their lead.
And A.C. Earl has been sitting down for a while. You would expect in the normal rotation. I'd say the Hawkeye coach is not happy with his inside play.
Street gets Kelly into the air and scores. As Kelly comes down, Street goes up. He's got 7. 20-16, Iowa by 4, 9 minutes and just under now left to play in the first half. Finley almost loses to Barnes. And when Finley recovers, Barnes fouls, and for Val Barnes, it is foul number 1. For the Hawkeyes, foul number 2.
And as I say that, substitutes are coming in for the Hawkeyes, sending 4 of them, including A.C. Earl, along with Winters, Smith, Moses. You talk about the wrestlers earlier today. Tom Davis told us a little story. He wrestled once in his life. It was for a fundraiser when he was in college. The basketball players got to go up against the opponent over at Wisconsin-Platteville, and he chose to be a wrestler on that day as a fundraiser. He said never again. 2 minutes was enough.
Of course, the Big Ten Wrestling Championships are here this weekend. The Hawkeyes did very well this morning, advancing all 10 to the semifinals tonight. 6 by pins. And Bart Schelsvig did something unbelievable. Set a Big Ten record, got a pin in 23 seconds.
That's quick. It's like Kevin Smith quick.
Tracy Webster with his third basket. He's got 8 points. And Iowa's lead is now 2. It's Iowa 20 and Wisconsin 18. 8:20 before halftime. Looking Bill, Smith, Winters, Moses, and Earl in the lineup for Iowa. Finley, Douglas, Eli, Webster, and McGee in the lineup for Wisconsin. Moses hit it, and he also got hit. Count the basket. Moses will have a chance at a three-point play.
Just prior to Moses on that move, A.C. Earl made a strong move. As you see Moses here getting the man in the air, stops, athletic move that you're used to out of J-Mo, gets it down and the foul. What I was going to say is Earl made a strong move from one block to the other, was wide open, did not get the ball. That's discouraging for a big man when you get that much work and effort and you don't get the ball.
Moses with 5, Street with 7. They are the leading Hawkeye scorers, while Webster's 8 paces the Badgers. 7:55 to go opening half. 23-15. The Hawkeyes, who've led by as many as 6, now lead by 5. Webster trying to work one-on-one against Smith, and now Eli comes up with a loose basketball. When you see that matchup that you're seeing there, Smith against Webster, that is really quick versus quick.
And that was very good defense by the Hawkeyes. Being able to switch out on Webster, make him go to his right hand.
Moses taking it to the hole, and Finley collides with Winters and Earl in the scrap for the rebound, and the foul will go against the Hawkeyes. A.C. Earl with his first foul, Iowa with their third. There's a timeout, 7:23 left to play in the first half. Iowa by 5. We'll be back after these words from Accent Herbicide.
You know, I can't imagine.
We take a look at the Big Ten standings, and the Illinois Fighting Illini knocking off Michigan State, so Iowa with an opportunity to move into third. There you look at the lower 4 in the league. Indiana keeps winning. They've got the league championship, of the Buckeyes winning again today and keeping the pressure on. Moses finding Street, and Chris having a good offensive ball game. Street now with 9. 25-18. Iowa with their biggest lead so far, up by 7, 7:04 in the first half. Eli, good pass from Douglas, and he gets hammered. On the foul for the Hawkeyes, Rodell Davis.
Eli going up, jamming the ball. That's what he can do best. He is an athlete. Rodell Davis, of course, a teammate of Tracy Webster. Webster, freshman when Rodell was a senior in high school.
Lewis Eli, one of 3 Thornton Township prospects, or alumni, we should say, on the floor. Tracy Webster also went to Thornton Township, as did Rodell Davis of the Hawkeyes. Davis obviously preceded the other two by a couple of years, though Eli and Webster were teammates for a while. It's 25-19 Iowa. Just under 7 left in the first half as Street continues to be the big player offensively for Iowa. He's got 11. On the other hand, A.C. Earl has not scored and has just 1 rebound.
And a special play again to get the ball inside. Street and Earl very effective in there, but A.C. yet to score.
Third rebound for Earl. 27-19. Iowa enjoying their biggest lead, trying to make it more as Davis finds A.C. Still doesn't have a score, and pulling down the rebound for the Badgers, Carlton McGee, who averages almost 5 rebounds a game.
A.C. still throwing a shutout at himself tonight, or this afternoon.
And that's unusual because he has been in double figures in his last 28 ball games dating back to last season. Eli over Earl, and the rebound by Davis, his first. 6 minutes to go first half. Iowa by 8. Earl in the lane. Finley with the rebound. 3-on-1 for the Badgers, and Eli finishes.
And the Hawkeyes do not hustle back. A.C. Earl with a little fadeaway. Has to maintain his balance and his poise when you're struggling a little bit. Take it to the basket, try and get fouled. Gain some confidence on the free throw line.
Barnes and Webb come in for Iowa as Tom Davis continues to work his bench. He talks to A.C. Earl. Davis saying earlier today he's really sorry to see Steve Yoder depart Wisconsin. He thinks he's done a tremendous job here.
Well, he's a very supportive person, what Steve Yoder's done. It's a tough job. There isn't any question about it. The athletic department is in debt. had some problems there. And, of course, Barry Alvarez, the former Iowa assistant, started to turn things around there.
No shortage of rumored candidates to replace Yoder, Mac.
There's a bunch of them, I'll tell you. If you want to move up, here's the opportunity. But a former Iowa assistant, Kenny Burmeister, looks like he's going to be interviewed. Tom Izzo, an assistant at Michigan State. As you look at Steve Yoder, he's already been interviewed.
Scott Thompson, another former Hawkeye, is mentioned.
Oh. And they've had the names Rick Majerus, Utah, Mike Montgomery from Stanford, and Don Chaney, just recently let go by Houston.
There are more. Butch Carter's been talked about. Jim McClemmons, an assistant with the Bulls, has been talked about. The list goes on and on. Skinner off the pick by Street. Johnson, who just came into the ball game, blocks Webb. The Badgers down by 6. And Finley, what a move!
And we saw that one in Iowa City, Larry. That was the same one, flying down the middle. One-handed Tommy Hawk dunk.
There cannot be many better athletes in the conference than Finley.
And you look, he is a freshman. Webster, a sophomore. And this is the Webster to Finley combination. Both of them Chicago-born.
Rodell Davis picks up the foul.
And that gets the crowd going. It's what the Hawkeyes do not want.
You look at Wisconsin, the 2 freshman guards, well, I should say newcoming guards, because Webster was Prop 48 last year. He's a sophomore. Webster and Finley account for an average of 30 points a ball game, while the starting front line averages less than half that.
So that tells you where the points come from and where you have to pay attention.
Finley, a 73% free throw shooter, now has 5. And after Iowa opens an 8-point lead, the Badgers now cut the Iowa lead to 3. It's Iowa 27 and Wisconsin 24. 4:50 in the first half. Earl backing down Johnson, and Johnson fouls it.
That's the strong move we talked about. AC Earl, rather than the fadeaway, that time turned to the inside, showed the ball, got the man to raise up, duck under. That's just how you teach it in every summer camp, every clinic. Strong post play.
Make Eli with the foul. He had him to one side, Johnson to the other. Johnson was trying to stop him. Eli helped out. He picked up the foul. So AC Earl looks for his first points of the game. He's a 66% free throw shooter this year. 30-24. The Iowa lead is 6. 4:42 in the first half. Eli saw Earl, and he remembered 9 shot blocks the last time he saw AC Earl, so he wisely decided that Wisconsin would set up their offense. Eli wants to go to the other side, and AC's still right there with him. But finally this time, AC is guilty of fouling.
May give it to Val Barnes on a reach-in.
Barnes with his second. The Hawkeyes now have 6 as a team, and the Badgers also have 6.
Earl does a good job stopping the baseline move. Then Barnes reaches in across that right arm, got called for the foul. A good defense by AC Earl.
Couple of slick passes. Eli can't finish it off, and Street with his 3rd rebound.
May tell you why Eli has not been playing lately or playing well lately. He has missed 2 inside opportunities and taken it up weak both times.
A push is spotted as the ball went in the lane to AC Earl. And picking up the foul was Johnson. And again, Johnson had fits against AC Earl in Iowa City, picking up 5 fouls in 11 minutes, all of them against Earl.
Johnson still a ways away from being a real Big Ten post player that is a factor in a ball game. He can take up some space, but he has got to be either become a strong offensive player or a strong defensive player. He has to identify what he wants to be a part of his game to be effective for the Badgers.
The Hawkeyes are perfect in 4 free throw opportunities. The Badgers are also 4 out of 4 from the line. If Earl hits here, the Hawkeye lead will be 8, equaling their biggest. 4:01 to play in the first half. And once again, an 8-point Iowa spread at 32-24. Hawkeyes have really not pressured the Badgers a lot today, have they?
Well, they've not come what you call hard pressure, but they've really made it difficult for certainly the Badgers to go inside. Their points have come from the outside. It's what you would expect, but they have played good defense, having hands in the shooter's face.
Douglas chased by Looking Bill. Smith's got the difficult assignment of Tracy Webster. Finley gets past Barnes. Winters helps out, and that creates the miss.
And the crowd wanted goaltending on A.C. Earl. They thought A.C. was up in the cylinders. That ball laid on the rim. And we're so far away, we can't tell.
They didn't get that, but they did get the foul on Winters.
That time Johnson coming in, taller than Winters, reached over the top, able to get it, and Winters slapped at the elbow, getting the foul.
We are in the rafters here at the Wisconsin Fieldhouse that do have one of the comforts of home. Our ace statistician, Doug Schmidt, has journeyed through the fog to join us, and we appreciate his being here today. That's the first free throw missed by either club. Johnson out of Plymouth, Minnesota, a 7-footer at 240 pounds.
That's the kind of thing that really hurts you, especially at home when you're trying to get some momentum down 8. And obviously, then it's a very good foul by Winters.
Over the head of Earl and picked off by Tracy Webster. You take a look at newcomer of the year, Mac, and Webster certainly has to rate some strong consideration. Earl with rebound number 5, and now Smith pushes it ahead for the Hawks. Here's Winters. Iowa has their biggest lead on the slam by Winters at 34-24. 3 minutes to go first half.
Eli again struggling offensively, just 1 for 5.
Finley challenges Winters, and Winters picks up the foul.
Boy, what two great potential Big Ten players, and all Big Ten players you've got in Finley and Webster. Finley coming down, he can be an excellent NBA. Now you notice he's a lot right-handed, where Webster likes to go with his left hand a lot. Finley likes to use his right hand. But he's got 3 more years as you look at James Moses rather than Winters with the 2 fouls. But Finley, I'll tell you, when he gets that left hand going, he is going to be an unstoppable offensive player.
Just a freshman out of Proviso East High School in Maywood, Illinois. His high school team ranked 6th in the country by USA Today last season. Yesterday, by the way, celebrated his 18th birthday. This is a very young Wisconsin team with 8 players, either freshmen or sophomores.
Yeah, when you look at Finley, you say Proviso. I'll tell you, you can talk about Doc Rivers, Jim Brewer, right around the corner. Jeff Hornacek at LaGrange. So the neighborhood, excellent basketball.
It's an 8-point lead for Iowa at 34-26. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Iowa has led most of the ball game. The current advantage is 8 at 34-26, 2:51 to play in the first half.
Certainly on the road, the Hawkeyes have had some good momentum. They've gotten some exciting plays, and they've been able to keep Wisconsin crowd fairly quiet. Here is one of the outstanding Iowa plays. Kevin Smith pushing the ball, literally, figuratively, right into James Winters. Winters, an outstanding strength dunker. Loves to go up, pound the ball through.
Either team shooting very well right now, both just one of their last 5 field goal tries.
See if Iowa sets up a special play after the timeout.
Skinner and Moses at the guards, Looking Bill, Street, and Earl up front.
Really not, just running offense right now. I would expect him to try and run it again, as we've talked, get it to AC or Chris Street down on the blocks. There's Street to Earl.
Backs Johnson down, leaves it short. Johnson's got the rebound.
That's a good combination. Chris Street can see over most people and get it into AC.
The 3 by Brian Good, a 3-point expert who beat Iowa in Iowa City last year with a 3. And it's 34-29. The Badgers are within 5.
I can remember when Brian Good was in high school, Tom Davis went to see him. He had a great day that particular game, but Good chose to come and be a Badger.
Into the final 2 minutes of the first half. Badgers have had only 2 short-lived leads in the middle part of this first half. For the most part, Iowa has had the lead. Inside, Earl and Johnson collide. The crowd wanted Earl to get the foul, but the officials thought Grant Johnson. It's his second.
And Steve Yoder is right in the official's ear. Boy, he jumped up off the bench. He could have been Michael Finley dunking the ball. He got so high that time. And he's still on the official.
He ordered the third winningest all-time coach in Wisconsin history, but not good enough to be offered a contract renewal.
Well, Pat Richter, the new AD, has come in, wants to have his own people, got Barry Alvarez for football, and of course the football team with Dan McCarney, Bernie Wyatt, former Iowa assistants, done an outstanding job recruiting this past winter and spring now.
First free throw missed by Earl, who had hit 4 in a row, and it's 35-29 Iowa, 1:40 to play in the first half. Good for 3, and he's hit 2 in a row from three-point range.
That will not make Tom Davis very happy when you get the open 3.
Moses wants to answer with a 3. Earl now follows with a 2. 37-32. Iowa with the lead. 1:20 left in the first half. Good and Webster, the back line for the Badgers. McGee up front, Finley and Johnson.
McGee likes to be down on the block. He's not going to shoot it from 15.
Good looking for his third consecutive tray, and Smith finds Looking Bill. Moses travels. Badger ball with almost a full minute to go in the half.
Tom Davis wants some full court pressure. He wants the Hawkeyes up on the ball. Now they'll retreat and trap at half court. It looked like Looking Bill had an opportunity to take the shot himself instead of giving it up to James Moses. Moses gets the travel.
Finley is trapped and bails out of it.
It's a good thing Johnson is 6'10", 6'9". He wouldn't have had it.
You're looking at the first half clock. The shot clock is about 10 seconds less. The interception by Street on the pass intended for McGee. So the Hawkeyes can take the last shot, a chance to build on a 5-point lead. And Iowa is 13-2 when they lead at the half. The only loss is when they've had the halftime lead to Purdue and to Indiana on Wednesday night. Smith looking for Earl. Leaves it short. Looking Bill at the horn, and it is not good.
Good hustle play by Looking Bill to get that last shot opportunity.
The Iowa Hawkeyes on the road going for their third conference road victory enjoy a 5-point halftime lead. Our score, Iowa 37, Wisconsin 32. We'll be right back. Halftime at the Wisconsin Fieldhouse. It's Iowa 37, Wisconsin 32. Mac, let's take a look at some first half highlights. And certainly, well, let's do the stats first. All right, let's take a look at today's halftime stats brought to you by Counter Lock and Load Closed Handling Systems.
Well, the Hawkeyes shooting 47%. The shooting woes for Wisconsin continue, but they have shot much better than that at home. I would expect them to shoot better in the second half. Rebounds, Iowa's doing a much better job there, 20-14. Wisconsin only 2 offensive rebounds. Free throws really negate each other. Not many points coming there. 3-point percentage. Wisconsin, they lead the Big Ten in that category. They're shooting 50% in this game.
And it adds up to an Iowa lead at 37-32. Let's take a look now at those highlights. And James Winters with an emphatic jam.
Yeah, this is the one. You've got Smith to Winters. And like we said, very strong athlete on the inside. I would expect him to have some of those opportunities possibly in the second half.
And that's one of the reasons they call him the Skywalker. ACO really worked hard on the boards. He got 6 rebounds, and here, a basket.
Yeah, he struggled in the first 10 minutes of this game, just not getting himself in position, and now has come along, gotten 8 points in the first half, including 4 from the free throw line.
The Hawkeyes led by as many as 10 in the first half. The Badgers really didn't have very many leads. They led at 11-10, 13-12, and that was about it as far as the Wisconsin leads were concerned. And so Iowa at the half with a 5-point lead. Iowa 37 and Wisconsin 32. The second half just moments away, and Mac and I return right after these messages. Wisconsin 32, and certainly the first half of this ball game, one that Iowa played pretty well most of the time, with a couple of exceptions, and the Badgers came back at them. Mac, as we take a look at the first half, some interesting halftime activities here.
Well, there's certainly ways. You look at these right here now, the inside game, Street, Earl, they got themselves 19 points. That's what you would have hoped for. Barnes with 2 fouls.
And as far as the Badgers, as per usual, It's the guards, Webster and Finley.
And it's exactly what you'd expect there. It's the two strengths, the outside game versus the inside game. And as you said, at halftime here, we had the Bud Light Daredevils. They were exciting as usual. And a native of Waterloo, Iowa, Dr. Lou Harned was honored. He is also a graduate of Wisconsin for his Desert Storm activities. He was over there. Of course, it was just a year ago when we were at Wisconsin. It was day one of the war, and they honored him at halftime today, very appropriately.
And so both teams return to the floor preparatory for the start of the second half. The Hawkeyes an opportunity to move into a tie for third place in the conference with Michigan State because of an Illini victory today. Let's take a look at that. Another college basketball scores from around the country on our Budweiser scoreboard.
This is the exciting time of the year. It's almost NCAA time. That'll be next weekend in Michigan State. That'll be Iowa's last opponent. Loses to Illinois today. Now Iowa can control its own destiny for third place. Northwestern really struggling. Ohio State having their way. And of course they want to play for a number 1 or number 2 seed in their particular region. Iowa State, Colorado. Iowa State fighting for its NCAA life. They must win this game, I think, in order to have the opportunity to go to the NCAA unless they would win the tournament. And then Maryland, Virginia, and the ACC is a wacky conference this year. And right there, one of the great players, Mr. Williams, a 6'9" point guard, losing to Virginia.
Here we talk about the significance of this game, and with the victory, Iowa can move into a tie for third. With a loss, depending on what happens with Michigan and Indiana tomorrow, Iowa could actually fall into 6th place. So this could be a very pivotal game.
It's scary when you start looking at those standings. Everybody bunched in with 6, 7, 8 losses. And you look at the man that is, this will be his last home game, Steve Yoder, most wins right here. Bud Foster, Doc Meanwell, and then Steve Yoder, number 3.
Wisconsin has been to 4 postseason tournaments in basketball, and that man has led them to 2. So certainly he does not have to be ashamed at all about what he accomplished in a decade here at Wisconsin.
No, I really expect Steve Yoder, as the old saying goes, to land on his feet. You know, he's run a very clean program at Wisconsin. He has had people graduate. There's going to be an opportunity for him. I'll tell you, you look at a job like Wichita State that needs to get some recognition, a person back in there. Steve Yoder might be a candidate for that job.
So the Badgers playing their last home game. The Hawkeyes will do that, their last home game on Wednesday night against the Northwestern Wildcats. And we'll have that one for you at 7 o'clock. It'll be the day for 3 Iowa seniors to take their final bows before the home crowd. And we just got a final on the Iowa State-Colorado score. The Buffaloes win that ball game in Boulder, knocking off Johnny Orr's Cyclones by a score of 87-84.
Cyclones really struggled on the road, played extremely well at home, very emotional, but they've got a tremendous young team, Hoiberg, Mikulik, and of course those people will all be back. And we got a halftime score where Purdue is playing Minnesota, and I'll tell you, that's the one beef meeting the other beef set on that front line.
That's true.
You got 2 very physical teams. Year in and year out, maybe the 2 most physical teams in the conference, and it's Purdue 28, Minnesota 22.
Steve Yoder makes a couple of changes in his lineup to start the second half. Johnson, who did not start, is in. Shell, who did not start, is in. They team with McGee, Webster, and Finley. Street gets the feed from Earl. And coming up with it is Moses. Well, Moses connects, and the Hawkeyes back to their starters, Barnes and Smith, and up front, Moses, Street, and Earl.
Well, Moses, not shy about putting the ball up, 2 for 9 the first half, comes right back with the 8-footer in the lane. That was a well-conceived play. Street had the opportunity, didn't put it off the glass, tried to float it in over the rim and missed it.
Finley's 3 is too hard. Moses grabs the rebound. Webster comes off to challenge him. And it'll be Wisconsin ball. Just underway second half, Iowa 39, Wisconsin 32.
That time Moses drew the attention of the defense. You know, the other team knows you after they played you for 3 or 4 years. They think Moses wants to shoot it. That time a good choice giving it up. Street just not able to get the good handle on it.
Shell tries to find McGee, and Street fouls him.
Well, that's where you want to stop McGee from getting the basketball. Right down there in the block area. McGee was like 9 for 10 against Michigan in the big upset when the Badgers beat the Wolverines a couple weeks ago. And McGee just lived down there and had his way against the freshman players.
Street out after committing his first foul, and Winters comes in.
They may get 5 here. Boy, that was close.
Badgers trail by 7. 1 minute's been played in the second half. The three by Webster. He already has two of them, and Barnes with a rebound. Barnes with his second rebound. Moses. Johnson keeps it alive, and the Badgers have it. And in the first almost 90 seconds of the second half, just one bucket scored so far.
It's kind of like the Wisconsin-Iowa football game. They went up and down the field. Nobody could score.
And like the way this ball game started, too, when you think back.
Yeah.
Earl finds Winters posting up. James with lots of company, and with the rebound is Carlton McGee.
Again, basically the same play that started the second half. Got the cutter open, coming right down, just unable to finish it off. Winters and Street.
Barnes trying to stop Finley. That is a tough assignment. Finley is 6'6", and Barnes is 4 inches shorter.
Tracy Webster going to his left is tough. Earl steps right in to reject that one.
His fourth block. At the other end, Finley the intimidator.
And see what happens on this end. Oh.
Trying to be the intimidator. Winters.
I'll tell you, Winters, remember, had that back injury. He may have hit his hip or his back again. He knows it's hurt.
Well, I was thinking the very same thing.
He had trouble in December. Missed some games. That's a tremendous block by Finley. Now goes to the other end. And Winters knows no other way to play this game other than full bore right there. And John Streep, the trainer, and James Winters definitely in pain.
Turns out the back injury was one he really brought to the University of Iowa, and it just flared up on him this year. So he will be given some attention as McGee nails the free throw. And that's the first Badgers point of the second half. 39-33 Iowa.
And it looks like they may be looking at his left knee or leg rather than the back. So if you can say there's good news, it may be the fact that his back is not re-injured, but it's a new injury. We'll just have to check the extent of that, see if he gets back in.
Earl against Johnson, wheeling to his right, and McGee trying to help out, commits the personal foul, his second. Badgers now 3 fouls in the early going in the second half. The Hawkeyes with 2.
Nice move that A.C. Earl has brought to his game this year. The little swing hook. As he turns around to hook the ball, actually he squares up his shoulders. It's like a long layup with his long arms, being able to get it right at the basket area.
I learned recently that A.C. Earl shares culinary taste with you and I. He says his pig-out food, or the one he tries to avoid during the season, is chips and salsa. He says when they're in the house, he can't avoid them, and I can understand that.
Yeah, I love them. You know, it's party time then. You got to have the chips and salsa out. Watch the Hawkeyes.
Earl with 9, and Iowa stretches the lead to 6 at 40-34. Jay Webb checks in. A.C. Earl checks out. Skinner has come in at the point. Badgers' biggest lead has been a couple of one-point leads.
And Larry Winters is going to go to the locker room with the trainer, so they're going to check that leg out a bit more. But he is still limping as he's leaving the arena area.
Johnson over Webb, looking Bill and Street combined on the rebound. Hawkeyes try to build on a 6-point lead.
And now Jay Webb had turned his ankle, just coming straight down, trying to stop and get in position to receive the ball. Just rolled over his ankle a little bit.
So it's been a dangerous 2 minutes for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And John Streep is gone, and Dr. Johnston, who normally accompanies the team, he is not here. He is home ill.
Meanwhile, Tom Davis may have to check with Dan Gable and see if any of his wrestlers who are here for the Big Ten tournament have any basketball experience. For Barnes, his 6th point, and Iowa's lead is 8 at 42-34. Webster finds Finley. Looking Bill on the deflection. Badger basketball. You talked about the emotion of this ball game. How would you rate the Wisconsin effort from an emotional standpoint?
I really think it's flat, Larry. I don't think it was what I would expect on his senior day and a last game for Steve Yoder. They've given good effort, but not what I would call an emotional effort.
Students here are on spring break, and maybe the building isn't as loud as it normally would be. But that'll get them excited.
Yeah.
Jay Shell nails a three, his 8th three-pointer of the year, and the Badgers are now back to within 5. It's Iowa 42, Wisconsin 37. Street, nice move underneath. 13 for Street. That is first in the second half.
Tough angle for A.C. Earl and a great follow-up by Street. Wisconsin really came over the back outside position and nothing there. Skinner gets a great rebound.
Barnes is clear over Finley. Gets the roll. Iowa 46, Wisconsin 37, 15:50 to play. Webster, kind of a quiet 8 points for the Badgers. Nothing really dramatic. He hasn't been a major factor in the game. And Iowa, with the timeout, has the lead. Iowa 36, Wisconsin 37. Back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Walker's Shoe Stores. Larry Morgan and Mac McCausland at the 62-year-old Wisconsin Fieldhouse, constructed in 1930, second oldest building in the league to Williams Arena in Minnesota.
Earl, that fadeaway, and then here comes Chris Street, his specialty, offensive rebounding and a putback.
He now has 100 this season.
And now you've got Brig Tubbs in the lineup because Jay Webb, he has returned, but he did roll over that ankle.
And you were talking about those second chance points, a very key statistic. I read a quote the other day. Somebody said if you never gave up a second chance basket, you would rarely lose a basketball game. And there's a lot of truth to that.
Yes, there is. Of course, there's a lot of truth, Bobby. If you never had a turnover, you wouldn't lose many games either.
A lot of truth to that one. Brian Kelly's coming to the guard spot following the timeout for Wisconsin. He teams with Shell, Finley, Johnson, and Webster.
But you're right. The second chance points, that drives coaches nuts if you give them up. Yet you really love it on the other hand when your players get it, and it's a big momentum.
Shell with a three, and that is his second three of the ball game. And the Badgers are living up to their advanced billing of being a good three-point shooting team. They average 6 a game, tops in the league.
Yeah, Shell and Good have each of them hit 2, but neither of them have taken them off the dribble. Hawkeye should realize that and challenge that shooter. They can put the ball on the floor.
Big possession for the Badgers. They can get right back in it and do.
See, that's 3 of them, and he's absolutely standing still. Perimeter shooter. Shell has not gone inside the three-point lane all afternoon, and he won't.
Iowa 46, Wisconsin 43, 14:38 left.
You really work your tail off to get the lead and then give it up with 2 easy standstill jumpers. Doesn't make you happy at all.
Earl gets Johnson into the air and slams.
Clinic, just a clinic.
48-43 Hawkeyes. The Badgers now set up the half-court offense.
Nobody took Finley. Now Skinner goes to challenge him. And the Hawkeyes are messed up on defense. They can't figure out who Finley is going to be guarded by, and they can't figure out who Shell's going to be guarded by.
Earl, this time Johnson stays put. He didn't go into the air that time. He didn't go for the fake, and Earl didn't get the shot as a result. But Iowa once again wants to work on Johnson, and this time Earl travels trying to do that.
A0, just a little stutter step. And that's really one of those moves you've got to concentrate on. You put the ball down right away. The officials have made it a point of emphasis this year to try and reduce that starter step shuffle where they get away with a quick travel.
Jim Peterson into the Badger lineup. He started but didn't play much and has not scored at all. Peterson had transferred. First year was at Marshall University, but he decided to come back to Wisconsin where his parents had both gone, and he had a sister who attended school here, and he is from Wisconsin.
Boy, that looked like he was sitting out of bounds, but it's in front of the Wisconsin bench. No call.
Good tightrope act. Shell gets rid of Barnes. Kelly and Street fight for the rebound, and Street guilty of the foul. It'll be his second.
Hawkeyes still don't have much continuity on defense. Wisconsin players are inside. On the glass area, Street slaps Kelly over the head, gets his second foul.
Hawkeyes now 3 team fouls in the half. Wisconsin with just 1. Webb replaces Earl.
But Winters has not returned to the bench. He's still out with John Streif in the locker room. Something wrong with his knee or leg.
Where does Iowa most miss a guy like Winters?
The physical play, the strength inside. Like right there, a great jumper that can go up, grab that ball, and pull it down. He may be Iowa's most physical player, and he's only 6'5". Street gets beat, great quickness. And that time Webster, he's having a tough day.
He struggled about the last 3 or 4 games. A lot of Badger people say just trying to do too much. Barnes hammered by Kelly. His second foul. Just the second against the Badgers in the second half. Let's get another look at it.
Barnes trying to take it up strong, just unable to even get there. Kelly takes him out where he can't even get the shot off. Now Barnes, one of the best free throw shooters in the country.
Back 7th best in the country, tops in the conference. Hawkeyes have not had a Big Ten free throw champion since 1973. Rick Williams.
Jefferson, Cedar Rapids high school coach.
Barnes in double figures with 10. Hawkeyes lead at 50-43.
I was going to say, Rick had a great year. Still has a great year going at Jeff. First year head coach.
Moses trying to stop Finley. Finley with 7 points so far, none in this half. And Webster with 8 and none in this half. So the Hawkeyes are really containing the high-scoring guard tandem of the Badgers.
And they've done it with good defense. But I'll be honest and tell you, I thought Webster would try and control the basketball more. I thought he would really want it in his hands. And when he has not been able to penetrate and get inside. Good defense by the Hawkeyes.
Barnes joins Winters with 3 fouls for the Hawkeyes. The Badgers have no players with more than 2.
The trap right there for Tracy Webster. That looked like a travel there, and they're going to call Moses for a foul.
They say Moses reached out and grabbed, and Tom Davis may not have seen it that way.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say, James didn't.
There's no doubt that he traveled. He has both feet stationary, and he drops his right foot and puts his left foot forward before the ball ever gets down.
Wade Lookingbill will check into the Iowa attack.
Yeah, crowd not very happy with that. The official had already started to hand the ball to the player, and they blew the Lookingbill in, the substitute. Said, no, you should wait. That's what the crowd thought.
In this lineup, Moses back to a guard spot as Peterson looks for his first points, and Jay Webb blocks.
Not a strong move by Peterson. He floated that in from about 6 feet away rather than challenge Webb. Look at that float shot right there. Crowd wants goaltending. No way. That's the left-handed move.
Webster
Everything's short.
Up.
Yeah. Has tired legs today. He's left everything short.
Iowa with a 50-43 lead, 12:24 to play. Well, again, for Webster, this is his first year, though he's a sophomore, Prop 48 last year, the tail end of a long season. This has got to be wearing on a young man, especially somebody who's not very big at 5'11", 176.
And when you have to handle the ball and be as active part offensively and defensively as he is, Moses just gets the ball stolen. And look out.
His first basket of the second half, a jam, and it's Iowa 15, Wisconsin 45.
And the Hawkeyes try and put away the Badgers, and every time they try and do it, they just don't take care of the basketball, allowing the Badgers to stay right there.
Badgers hanging in gamely despite 37% field goal shooting, and that's because of the threes. They've had them, and Iowa, for the most part, has not, and that's been a major factor. Here, you look at this ball game, Mac, and 28 or so minutes have been played, and Iowa's probably had the lead 27.5, but the Badgers just won't say die. Finley tries to hack it away from Webb. Foul on Finley, his first. Wisconsin's third of the half.
Good rebound by Webb on the weak side, and then Finley reaching across. That's one of those fouls as a coach you just don't like to see. A freshman reaching in when the man already has possession, you're just not going to steal the basketball from a Big Ten caliber player.
Winters has returned to the Iowa bench, but he is limping. Iowa leads Wisconsin 50-45. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Barry Morgan and Mac McCausland back at Madison, Wisconsin. Mac, this game really has had all the finesse of a street fight. It just been a struggle. Everybody kind of scratching and clawing and no real artistic moments.
I think two reasons. One is, first of all, Tom Davis and Steve Yoder have gone against each other. This is their 12th battle. The second thing is this the second time around in the Big Ten. And you historically find lower scoring games and more struggles like this, lower shooting percentages, because you absolutely know not only the style, but now you know the player better. They know Finley, the Hawkeyes do. They know Webster, what he can do, and vice versa.
Davis, Skinner, Street, Earl, and Barnes in the Iowa lineup. Peterson tries to stop Earl. He can't, and he will draw the foul as A.C. Earl will try to complete a three-point play. 13 points for Earl.
Nice move by A.C. Earl. Inside head fake where he usually likes to turn left. He makes that little fake left, comes back, and again, strength enough to go through Peterson's arms and score the bucket. I'll tell you another reason you see, like the second time around, a lot of games are on TV, whether it's National Network, Raycom Network, and these players are a lot like other basketball fans. They watch the games, and they especially want to watch the particular player they match up with for any idiosyncrasies or things that they see that they can take advantage of when they get to play them.
Iowa with an 8-point lead, 10:54 left. Badgers have Webster and Finley at the guards. Good is also in there as a forward, along with Peterson and Kelly.
Of course, Rodell Davis against his high school teammate there, Tracy Webster. They were matched up, mano to mano. And Rodell Davis, certainly slower than Tracy Webster, gave just a half step more to make Tracy think that he could not get by him. Strong drive, and then the foul.
Earl's second foul. Hawkeyes now in their sixth in the penalty on the next one, while the Badgers have only 3. At the free throw line, Finley, this year he is 73%. Today he is 3 for 3. 10 for Finley. He is the first Badger in double figures. Did not start against the Hawkeyes in Iowa City, you may recall. Had been late for the team bus by 10 minutes, had to get a ride another way. So he sat on the bench, but then when they came into the ball game, he had 14 points. 53-47 Iowa, 10.5 left. The Badgers really have not put together, with one exception where Good hit a couple of threes, a strong run yet, but do you get the feeling there may be one left in them?
Oh, there's no question. Right now, the way Wisconsin can shoot the ball with threes, they'll be able to bomb from the outside. Iowa has had a good momentum of even. You know, they haven't been really up or really down. The only downside has been at the defensive end of the court, not the offensive end of the court. They've been pretty fluid there.
Webster on the penetration. First goal of the second half for Tracy Webster. 56-49 Iowa, 9:50 to go.
But Iowa just cannot get up to that double-digit lead and then put away the Badgers.
At 3 on the last Iowa trip for Barnes, just Iowa's second. Skinner had 1 in the first half. But again, the Badgers are one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country and lead the conference, averaging 6 three-pointers a game. Good got Davis into the air. Davis now tries to come from behind. And you see the result.
Boy, that's the old mistake theory of basketball. Went into the court. Rodell Davis gives it up with a pass that gets intercepted, comes right back down, tries to intensify his defense to make up for that mistake. Instead gets caught in the air, trying to go after Good, the three-point shooter, and it falls on the back, getting his third foul. And generally, you can just put him right in the scoring book right now.
85%, 35 of 41 on the year for Good.
Yeah, Good is great from that 15-foot range.
He's a lot better than Good, no question about it. Tom Davis would love to see his team capture this one. That would give them an opportunity with 2 games left to win one of the next 2 and have a winning Big Ten season.
That's good for the Hawkeyes.
It is unusual for Good. And it is 56-50. The Iowa leads 6 with 9:20 to go. And the takeaway by Webster.
That was a ball fake from Val Barnes, and the ball slipped out of his hands. And I'll tell you right now, it's just a player making a bad decision in a bad position. What happens even if Peterson catches the ball for the Badgers? Absolutely nothing.
Steals in the ball game. Iowa, of course, one of the top stealing teams in the conference. No surprise they would have a little bit of a margin over the Badgers. Earl takes Peterson down low and does not get the roll. Barnes on the offensive rebound.
But a great screen by Wade Lookingbill made that very easy for Val Barnes. Once Barnes got the ball, Lookingbill screened his man off in the lane. Barnes came to that side. Smart play by both players.
Barnes has 15-11 in the second half. Kelly tries to get around Lookingbill. Wade will not let him. Johnson does not get the roll.
Oh, the Badgers wanted goaltending. It looked like the Hawkeyes may have hit the net.
Webster wanted to kick it off for Finley, but Kelly didn't know that and got a hand on it. So the turnover by the Badgers gives Iowa the basketball with 8 minutes and 16 seconds left to play, and Iowa leading at 58-50. Jay Webb about to check into the Hawkeye lineup before Iowa puts the ball in play. You see Phil Bova waving him in. Webb replaces Earl, Phil Bova, Ted Hillary, and Mike Stainer, the officials working the ball game today.
And Webster just a little out of his normal rhythm in making the choices. That time he really had an open shot at 10 feet, decided to pass it, went off a teammate's hands.
Hawkeyes spread the court. Poses on the dive, and it almost dropped for him, and with the rebound is Johnson. Just kind of dove towards the basket.
If you're going to take those kind of shots, you better be sure they go down. He's like 3 for 13 in this game.
Again, James Winters fell and hurt. It appeared to be his leg. He's returned to the Hawkeye bench, but has not taken off his warm-up jacket. You get the feeling probably won't be used this afternoon. Webster spins. Skinner rebounds. The Hawkeyes have a 4-on-2 advantage. Lookingbill gets the roll. Skinner looking one way, passing the other.
That's not a fast break combination you would normally see or expect, but well executed.
Those guys have been playing together since high school when they played against the Soviet Union team. So 7:06 left in the ball game in Wisconsin. Iowa leading it 60-50, and we'll return in just a moment. With 7:06 to go, the Iowa lead is 10 as Tom Davis trying to see his team score victory number 9 in the conference, which would move them into a third-place tie with Michigan State.
For the Hawkeyes being able to bring the ball, Lookingbill taking it strong to the basket. Excellent fast break, bounce pass, came right up where he could gather it all at once and not have to catch the ball in an awkward position. He made one move for that layup.
With 7:06 to play, the Badgers down by 10 inbounding. Finley against Street. Webster averages about 35 minutes a game, and he's still in there. Is Shell for 3, and the rebound by Earl.
Set play right then to see if the Hawkeyes will guard that three-point line right after the timeout. Badgers not able to knock down the 3. Iowa now has it up to 10, looking for a knockout punch.
Hawkeyes with their starting lineup on the floor right now. 6:35 remains.
This is when it's critical to know the time and the score.
And Earl goes to the line with a foul on Johnson.
The Hawkeyes run off 30 seconds on the clock before they really make a strong offensive move to the basket. Earl now gets to go to the line, comes across. Again, as we talked, that little hook, but you see how he squares the shoulders? It's like a long, extended layup. Really a good job by A.C. Earl, now getting to the free throw line. But like we say, the time and the score are what are critical in this game.
That is really an advantageous matchup for the Hawkeyes, isn't it, when Earl is paired off with Johnson?
Yeah, Johnson, not nearly as experienced or the athlete that A.C. Earl is.
Earl 6th in the conference in scoring and rebounding, having an outstanding junior year. 4 blocks today, now 101 this year. Last year he set his school record with 106. Kelly loses. Moses has Barnes in front of him. But the ball was behind him, and so it's Badger ball.
Well, James Moses, opportunity to go right to the basket until the last second, and then just drop it over his head. Chose to give it up early, and goes off Val Barnes' hands. Now again, it may be the place for the bounce pass.
6:05 left, and it's Iowa 60, Wisconsin 50. Hawkeyes have really done a good job containing Webster and Finley.
They really have. They paid strong attention to him. Not let him get hot.
But that time, Finley explodes to the hole. 60-52 Iowa. 13 for Finley. They're going to wind up with their averages, and yet they've not been able to really take over the ball game, and they've got that ability. Here's Earl on the right-handed hook.
Johnson just does not step out there strong enough or quick enough, because if he would, Earl would spin back to the inside and be able, or excuse me, to the outside baseline and still score. Johnson just not quick enough with his feet to defend Earl.
Travel against Webster because Smith was right in his face. The battle of the two quickest point guards, or at least two of the three quickest point guards in the conference, and that time around to Kevin Smith.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're a Badger fan, you really have to wonder if there's not a reach and a grab by Kevin Smith. I'd say the officials may have missed that one.
I'd say Steve Yoder wonders.
Yep. But it all evens out, I'll tell you.
Five minutes to go. The Iowa lead is 10. Barnes penetrates. Badgers doing a good job helping out defensively that time on the penetration.
And there's still 15 seconds left to go on the shot clock. Plenty of time. And Tracy Webster reaches and grabs. And that is, again, a foolish foul in the sense of it's down to 8 seconds on the shot clock. You're going to get the ball back. Now it'll be reset to 45. You've got to understand the scoreboard and the time left. And in this case, you saw the reach. No question, Tracy Webster getting his first foul.
On the next one, the Badgers and the penalty. That does have to be disheartening to play 40 seconds of good defense, or almost 40 seconds, and then to give the other team a new 45. And that's what's happened in Iowa with that 62-52 lead with another 45.
Now they can run the clock down to about 4:10 before they really even have to look for a shot.
Iowa has not won here in their last 3 visits. They're going for a sweep in the series, in the season series against the Badgers after beating Wisconsin 65-54 in Iowa City. Barnes looking for Earl, but he did not see Shell.
But the clock is down to 4:15.
Shell on the 3, Finley on the rebound. 15 for Finley. And now he's beginning to come alive, 8 in the second half.
The Hawkeyes still have to attack the basket. They can't become complacent. You'll see them go with a roll offense. This will allow a man to go one-on-one, and it's Smith against Webster to try be able to beat him to the basket or take off the 40 seconds before they have the option to go for probably their high post pitch opportunity that they run so well.
Pretty appropriate for Iowa to run the roll here in Wisconsin because, of course, Tom Davis a native, and that's where he learned the roll.
Yep, the Winnie roll.
Shot clock winding down. In fact, it's down to 1. And it expired. Seemed like a quick 45, didn't it?
Boy. They're saying no foul. The shot clock went off.
That's what Tom Davis is wondering, I think. There's a timeout as Tom Davis wants to check and see if the clock had been reset. Iowa by 8. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Iowa has had the lead most of the ball game, all for about a 40-second period, and the Badgers trail by 8. It's Iowa 62, Wisconsin 54. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left to play.
Iowa has gone to their delay game, but they have not been able to get good shots in that last 10 seconds of the 45-second clock. If they're going to go to the delay game, they still got to be able to get a good shot, get something either off the free throw line or off the set play.
As we take a look at the situation, the Badgers have used 2 timeouts, so they've got just 1 left. Iowa with 3. Neither team has a foul to give as both are in the penalty.
When you say foul to give, though, they don't have a foul to give to the 1-and-1. both teams would be shooting 1-on-1. They are not at the 10-foul limit for the 2 shots.
Important possession for the Badgers, because if they score here, they're within 6 and right back in it, and Finley gets the roll. And for Michael Finley, a tremendous second half. 17 in the ball game, 10 in the second half. 62-56, the Iowa lead, 6:2:55 left.
And now Barnes has a slower man shell on him. It's Skinner with Webster, and they got a double team.
Moses looking for Earl. Street picks it up. Hawkeyes once again will spread the court with now 2 minutes and 32 seconds to go, and Iowa leading by 6. The shot clock's at 16. Shell takes from Skinner. Let's see what the call will be.
And it will be Wisconsin's ball if it's a jump.
It is a jump ball. Bova and Hillary conferring, and the arrow gives it to the Badgers. 2:25 left. They are down by 6. Maybe the most important possession of the game.
Well, you've got to be very alert. If your teammate gets in trouble like the double team Skinner, go to the official and take the timeout.
Badgers haven't led in the second half. They didn't lead the last 10 minutes of the first half. .212 left. Webster leaving it short, and again, that's been Tracy Webster's story so often on the long-range shots.
Well, he's not had his legs into his game at all. Now you're talking 2 minutes left to go in the game, and Skinner going to try and see if he can control this ball. He's doing it on the dribble, but Iowa's going to have to make some free throws. I think you can count on that. Right there, Shell just grabbed Moses' jersey. Nothing called.
Hawkeyes have pretty good free throw shooters in. In fact, only of the people on the floor, A.C. Earl is below 70%. With that foul, Jay Shell his second. So Iowa is at the line with 1:43 seconds to play, bidding for their 3rd conference road game of the year and leading at 62-56. Into the lineup for the first time today is Andy Kilbride, a freshman from Kankakee, Illinois, 6'3", 185-pounder.
And he was one of the great three-point shooters in Illinois last year as a high school player. Moses, 1 for 1 from the line today, and one of the best in the Big Ten. Earlier in the season, he was among the leaders in the country. Makes that one.
Right now, he is 8th in the league. He has 8 points in today's game.
So where he struggled from the field, being 3 for 13, he has made him from the line.
Moses with a pair, and the Hawkeyes stretch the lead to 8. 64-56, 1:43 left.
And what's critical about that is it's 3 possessions. When it was down to 6, you're talking just 2 possessions.
Hooking Bill came in from Moses at the dead ball.
And Iowa has gone to the zone. They did it last time to really try and guard the perimeter shooter for the 3. Getting the 2, you don't like to see it as an Iowa fan. Finley's down.
Now 19 for Finley. What a second half he's had.
Must have turned over his ankle because he's limping. See what happens as he drives by, goes up. Good move, then comes down on that left leg, left foot. And like we say, he's still limping out there, going full court press.
1:28 remains. It's Iowa by 6. And again, a good free throw shooting unit on the floor for the Hawkeyes. Now all the people on the floor, 70% or better. And Street will go to the line with the foul. Kilbride. Street right at 70%. Has not been to the line in this half. Once in the ballgame, 1 out of 1, 13 points in the game for Street.
Now you're into specialist substitution. Moses, the offensive player, ball handler, sits out. A.C. Earl, a defender rebounder, comes in.
Street has played well against the Badgers this year. Tied a career high in Iowa City against Wisconsin with 17. He's got 13 as he comes to the line now. McGee is back in. And Billy Douglas, one of the 4 seniors making their last home floor appearance, goes out.
And I'll tell you, the guy that's kind of been unsung in this game, I think, has been Val Barnes, as Street misses it. Barnes, 15 points, too.
1:05 to play, 64-58 Iowa.
Got to guard the three-point shot.
Earl a big rebound, and that is 9 for A.C. Earl.
And Barnes, again, one of the leaders in the country. You want him and Skinner to have the ball late in the game.
And Skinner, an 82% free throw shooter on the line, following a foul against Michael Finley.
And now what happens is it's going to be 2 shots the rest of the way. That really takes the pressure off the shooter. He knows when he goes to the line that he is going to have a 2-shot opportunity. Excuse me, I guess that's number 9. It's still just 1-1, but from now on, it will be the 2 shots. So Troy still has some pressure on him.
But it's the last time you have to make the first to get the second. A moment ago, Street misfired front end of a 1-on-1. 4 for Skinner. 65-58 Hawkeyes.
You know, you start looking down there, Troy Skinner, a senior for Iowa, and next week, Northwestern, when they come in, that will be Iowa Seniors Day, and it's hard to imagine Troy Skinner, James Moses, Brig Tubbs, Rodell Davis, that'll complete their athletic careers at the University of Iowa.
Iowa 66, Wisconsin 58. In time, really a Hawkeye ally.
Now that should do it for the Hawkeyes.
Kilbride got to Barnes for a second foul. You know, you talk about those graduating seniors, Mac. That certainly puts some premium on recruiting. And things are looking good, according to Tom Davis. So far, he says so good.
Kenyon Murray, outstanding player, going to the McDonald's game, also going to Kentucky to the Derby Classic. And, of course, Fred Brown's son. You know, he was downtown Freddie Brown, but we've already nicknamed his son Midtown Brown. Can't have the same range as Dad does, not yet. But I would expect and anticipate the Hawkeyes probably still giving maybe 2 more scholarships. With Paul Lusk leaving, and you look at this squad, no other true point guard other than Kevin Smith. You'd certainly think a point guard would be in order, and also another big man to come in and play behind A.C. Earl and Chris Street next year. Look for somebody maybe 6'9", 6'10".
Badgers don't want 2s now. They only want 3s. Here's Good. McGee will take the gimme that time. But Iowa leads by 8 with only that much time remaining. 68-60.
Yeah, the clock keeps running. Once again, it's another opportunity.
And that's what Iowa didn't want.
Oh, boy.
A basket and a foul, and that's what they got. McGee a chance at a 3-point play.
Oh, brother. Hawkeyes stepping in, trying to take the charge. You just never want to give an official an opportunity to make that call this late in the game. Let them have 2 points. Let the clock keep running. You take it out of bounds, get it back in play. Chris Street, 3 fouls, sitting down.
So the Badgers are certainly not going quietly. A moment ago, they're down by 10 with 42 seconds to play. Now we're at 17.9. They're back within 6. Now 5. 68-63. McGee again. Can you believe it?
And it's down to 10 seconds.
And the Badgers have made the most of this opportunity. They have closed it within 3. Iowa 68, Wisconsin 65. We'll be right back. In 30 seconds, the Badgers have cut a 10-point Iowa lead, which was 68-58 to 3 at 68-65. 10.5 to play. The Hawkeyes have the ball.
That's where you talk understanding the time when the score. Chris Street stepping in to take that charge. You love to teach young people to take the charge, but understand how much time's left and the opportunities it's going to give the other team when it's not called. All of a sudden the clock stops, free throw line opportunity, and now the Badgers are right back in this game, obviously, but the Badgers are out of timeouts. They cannot stop it if the Hawkeyes can get the ball inbounds.
And going for the steal, Webster, and a second and a 10th went off the clock from 10.5 to 9.4 seconds.
That's a friendly clock in Madison.
Steve Yoder wants to know about that, as Iowa will make the change with Smith replacing Earl. Tom Davis wanting the quickness of Kevin Smith in to try to spring Iowa out of the trap. And now the Hawkeyes see the coverage there, and a foul is spotted before any time can run off the clock.
Foul on Finley, and it looked like he was grabbing the man or the uniform. That's why nobody could get open for Iowa. It's awful hard when they got a hold of your jersey. So now it's going to be up to the Hawkeyes. They do get this time the 2 shots we talked about. As we said, that is less pressure on the shooter. Still plenty there, but you're looking at one of the best in the country.
best in the conference. And he, of course, is so cool under pressure. For Barnes, 18. 18 for Val Barnes. A timeout taken by the Hawkeyes, 9.4 seconds left to play. That was a big free throw because now the Badgers have to score twice. It's Iowa 69 and Wisconsin 65. The Hawkeyes trying to hang on for their 17th win of the year, and a win would give them 9 in the conference and move them into a tie for third place with Michigan State. Val Barnes leading Iowa, scoring with 18. A.C. Earl has 17. Michael Finley leading the game with 19.
Boy, when you talk about a very economical player, Val Barnes already has 18 points, and in this half, he's only shot the ball 9 times total, which was 4 for 4 from the field, 5 for 5 from the line. Putting himself in an excellent position here, make one more, give Iowa a 5-point lead. You've really got to understand right now, you cannot foul any shooter at any time. You don't want Wisconsin going to the foul line.
Wednesday night, final home game for the Hawkeyes, and as Mac mentioned, for 4 seniors, and we'll have it for you beginning at 7 o'clock, Iowa against Northwestern. 7 o'clock from Carver Hawkeye Arena on Wednesday night. The Badgers playing their last game in the Fieldhouse under Steve Yoder. And they have made a great comeback effort, but it looks like it will fall short.
You know, you look at this game, still, it hangs in the balance a bit, but I guess I'll have to go out on a limb and say, Hawkeyes, they can win this one. Now you're looking at 9 victories in the Big Ten. Northwestern coming in to Carver. You could look at 10 there, and then go up to Michigan State, take your chances, because Tom Davis has played very well up at East Lansing. He is 4-1 seeing Judd Heathcote up in East Lansing, and that opportunity to play there. Matt Staginga has been out, but Staginga is expected to be back.
Thanks to executive producer Peter Rolfe for all his help on our telecast today. 69-65 Iowa, as Barnes now stretches the lead to 5 with 9.4 seconds left.
Passive defense by Iowa. Like I say, do not expect anybody to be near that shooter.
And Barnes will squeeze the basketball, and the Hawkeyes will squeeze their 3rd conference road victory.
And Rick Moss had the scout on this game and brought his lucky suspenders. He had not lost with the suspenders, so he took them on the road with him for the Hawks.
Well, that may have been a contributing factor. So we're 19 from Barnes, 17 from Earl. We'll be right back. Iowa wins it 70-65.